I want to tell you something that if someone had told me a few years ago, I wouldn't have believed. But I promise you that everything you're going to hear in this video is completely real. Today, I'm 78 years old. Yes, 78, and I'm not ashamed to say it. On the contrary, I feel proud of every wrinkle, every lived experience, and also of the changes I've achieved in my health and energy, thanks to a simple habit I adopted in the mornings. For a long time, waking up was a struggle. I felt tired, heavy, mentally slow, as if every day started uphill. My knees hurt. I lacked the motivation to walk or do my things, and honestly, I started to think that this was aging, that it was normal, that it was part of the price of getting older. But something inside me refused to accept that as my fate. Why settle for a body that doesn't respond if there's a chance to feel better? That's how I began to research, to try natural, simple things without chemicals or expensive medications. If you're new here on the channel, don't forget to leave your like and subscribe so you don't miss any videos. And that's when I came across this oil. An oil that today is part of my mornings, like washing my face or drinking a glass of water. It wasn't an instant miracle, but after a few weeks the changes were so obvious that even my family started asking, "What are you doing? Did you do something? Why do you look so good?" I look in the mirror today, and honestly, I hardly recognize the tired man I used to be. I feel 20 years younger, and I'm not exaggerating. I say it with complete sincerity. I have more energy, I walk better, I sleep better, and most importantly, I regained my enthusiasm for life. For years we look for miracle formulas to feel better, younger, and more energetic. Sometimes we spend fortunes on chemical-filled products that promise miraculous results, but we rarely stop to think that the answer might be in nature. And that's exactly where the protagonist of this video comes in. A natural, affordable, and surprisingly effective oil that has made me feel 20 years younger, even at 78. The oil I'm referring to is castor oil, also known as ricinus oil. It may sound old-fashioned or outdated at first, but the truth is it has been used for centuries by different cultures for its incredible healing and rejuvenating properties. And today, more than ever, this oil is regaining an important place in natural health and personal care. Castor oil comes from the seeds of the Ricinus communis plant, and although its scientific name may sound complicated, its benefits are very simple. It nourishes, repairs, and regenerates. What makes this oil so powerful is its high content of ricinoleic acid, a type of fatty acid with anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, and deeply moisturizing properties. But that's not all. What impressed me the most when I started using this oil was its impact on several areas of my life. For example, I use it on the skin of my face every morning, and in just a few weeks, I noticed an incredible difference in the softness, glow, and firmness of my skin. Fine wrinkles smoothed out, and the feeling of dryness disappeared completely. It's as if my skin regained its vitality from 20 years ago. In addition to its cosmetic benefits, castor oil also has a positive effect on digestive health. Some people use it internally, though this should be done carefully and with medical guidance, as a mild laxative or to improve intestinal function. In my case, I only use it externally, but the effects on my overall well-being have been noticeable. More energy, fewer joint aches, and a general sense of wellness I hadn't felt since my 50s. Another wonderful use is on the scalp. By massaging a small amount of castor oil into the hair roots, not only is circulation stimulated, but hair growth is strengthened and hair loss reduced. For someone who's 78, maintaining strong and healthy hair is a gift, and this oil makes it possible without resorting to expensive products. Something I want to highlight is that this oil isn't magical on its own. The key is consistency. I use it every morning without fail. It's part of my routine, like brushing my teeth. I apply it to my face, to the joints if I feel any discomfort, and sometimes even to my feet before putting on socks. The sense of self-care it gives me is as powerful as the physical effects I notice. There are other natural oils that also offer incredible benefits, like coconut oil, jojoba oil, or olive oil, but castor oil, because of its versatility and depth of action, has been the one that most transformed my daily life. I'm not saying it's a miracle cure for everything, but I confidently say that it has given me back part of my youth, both physically and emotionally. This miracle oil is nothing more than a gift from nature that had been there all along, waiting to be rediscovered. It doesn't matter if you're 40, 60, or over 70 like me. It's worth trying it and letting its benefits speak for themselves. Every morning, as soon as I wake up, I have a little ritual. It's not complicated, it's not expensive, but it's sacred to me, because since I started doing it, I feel like my body thanks me, and in a big way. I'm talking about the daily use of castor oil, that little bottle that has become my silent ally, my secret to youth. The first thing I do when I wake up is take a moment for myself. I don't turn on my phone, I don't check the news. I go straight to the bathroom, wash my face with warm water, just water, no soap, and gently dry it with a clean towel. And that's when my oil routine begins. I take just a few drops on my fingertips, no more than that. This oil is thick, very concentrated, so a little goes a long way. I rub it between my fingers to warm it slightly, and then I apply it with gentle massages on my face. I start on the forehead, making circular motions. Then I move to the cheeks, down to the jawline, and I never forget the neck. I always say, if you care for your face but forget your neck, you're letting part of your youth slip away. This massage doesn't last more than 2 or 3 minutes, minutes, but it's a moment I really enjoy. I feel how the skin slowly absorbs it and how that feeling of hydration settles in. I no longer have that morning tightness I used to feel. My skin no longer feels dull or tired. Over time, I've noticed even some expression lines have faded. They didn't magically disappear, of course, but they're smoother, less deep. Then, if I have a little more time that day, I apply a few drops on the joints of my fingers and knees. These massages have helped me ease morning stiffness. Before, when I got up, I felt like my hands were a bit clumsy, as if they struggled to move. Since I started using the oil, that has improved a lot. I apply it in circular motions, slowly, breathing deeply. It's my way of saying to my body, thank you for another day. On some days, when I notice my hair is drier or just want to give it extra care, I apply a little castor oil to the scalp. Very little, because as I said before, this oil is dense. I massage it gently from root to tip. Then if I'm going out, I tie my hair up and that's it. If I have time, I leave it on for about 20 to 30 minutes before washing. I don't do this every day, but once or twice a week is enough to see great results. Less hair loss, more shine, and a healthy scalp. One important thing, after applying the oil to my face, I let it sit for a few minutes before applying anything else. Sometimes I put on a little makeup, sometimes I don't. But I always let the oil do its job first. And you know what's curious? It doesn't take more than 10 minutes in total. 10 minutes in the morning that have transformed my days. It's not magic. It's not a marketing trick. It's consistency. It's respect for my body. It's understanding that self-care has no age. Since incorporating this daily castor oil routine, I don't just notice the benefits in my skin or joints. My attitude has changed too. I look at myself in the mirror and I feel good. I feel alive. I feel capable. So if you ask me how I use it every morning, I'd tell you, with love, with respect, and with the certainty that every small action matters, because in those simple gestures lies the true secret to feeling young, no matter how old you are. The first thing I noticed, and probably the most obvious, was my skin. I was never someone obsessed with cosmetics or beauty. I've always been pretty simple when it comes to self-care. But over the years, like everyone, I started noticing the signs of time. Dryness, loss of firmness, little wrinkles here and there. At first, I accepted it as natural, but when I discovered that I could improve it, and in such a simple way, I was amazed. After a few weeks using the oil every morning, my skin started to change. It looked more hydrated, more alive. I no longer felt that tightness when I woke up, or that rough texture to the touch. The finer wrinkles, especially around my eyes and mouth, became noticeably softer. They didn't disappear because I'm realistic, but they were no longer so prominent. People started noticing, "What are you doing to your skin?" they asked me, and I smiled, because the secret was in a little bottle that cost me less than a regular store-bought cream. Then came something I didn't expect, a noticeable increase in my energy. I didn't change my diet, nor did I start doing intense workouts. The only real difference was the consistent use of the oil. Maybe it's a placebo effect, or maybe just feeling better on the outside made me move more on the inside. But the truth is, I started waking up with more motivation. I had more strength to walk, to clean the house, even to dance a little in the kitchen while making breakfast. Do you know the last time I did that before this change? Neither do I. I also noticed positive changes in my joints. At my age, 78, it's very common to feel stiffness in the mornings, especially in the hands and knees. I wasn't exempt from that. Some days I felt like my fingers just wouldn't respond, but by applying the oil with gentle massages, little by little that feeling started to fade. I won't tell you I'm jumping around like a young girl, but I move more freely, with fewer groans, and that alone is a great gift. My hair also surprised. Since I started applying the oil to my scalp once or twice a week, I've noticed less shedding when brushing it. I've even seen some new hairs growing. Fine, yes, but strong. And most of all, it has more shine, more body. I used to hide it in a bun out of embarrassment because it looked so thin and dull. Today I wear it down when I can, with pride. And perhaps the most profound benefit, the most invisible but most valuable, has been the change in my attitude. I feel more confident. I look in the mirror and see a woman who takes care of herself, who respects herself, who doesn't surrender to the passage of time, but walks alongside it with dignity and kindness. That transformation is priceless. I don't want you to think this oil is magic. It's not, but it is a powerful tool. And when used with consistency, love, and patience, the results come. Maybe for you, the benefits will be different. Maybe you'll use it on your eyelashes, on dry skin, or for massages. The reason doesn't matter. What matters is knowing that it really can make a difference. I'm 78 years old, but since I started this little habit, I feel like I'm 58. Not because my body has turned back time, but because my spirit, my energy, my way of seeing life has been renewed. And that, believe me, is worth more than any expensive cream or luxury treatment. If you've made it this far, you're probably thinking about trying castor oil, and I'm glad. But before you rush to apply it, let me give you some important tips and warnings, because although this oil has been a gift for me, I've also learned that, like everything in life, it must be used with respect, knowledge, and common sense. First of all, don't expect instant results. This oil is not a magic wand. The changes I experienced came through daily, consistent, loving use. If you apply it one day and skip the next 3, or if you expect your skin to look like it did at 30 after a week, you'll be disappointed. This is a journey of small improvements that, over time, add up to big transformations. Second tip, less is more. Castor oil is thick, dense, very concentrated. Just a few drops are enough to cover your face, hands, or scalp. If you use too much, it can feel sticky or even clog pores if not properly cleaned after. Use a small amount, massage it in well, and let your skin absorb it slowly. Another very important recommendation, do a patch test before using it for the first time. Even though it's a natural product, not all skin reacts the same. Apply a small amount to a part of your arm or behind your ear and wait a few hours. If there's no itching, redness, or irritation, it's likely safe for you to use. But if you see any reaction, stop. Your skin speaks, and you need to listen. Also, make sure to use 100% pure cold-pressed castor oil. Avoid versions mixed with artificial fragrances or additives. Always look for a product that's clear or slightly yellowish, with no strong odor. And of course, store the bottle in a cool place, away from sunlight. Now I want to talk about something many people don't mention, the internal use of castor oil. Some people take it as a natural laxative, but personally, I don't recommend ingesting it without medical supervision. Even though it has a long history as a traditional remedy, if misused, it can cause cramps, diarrhea, or dehydration. In my case, all the benefits I've mentioned came from external use. That was enough for me, and maybe it will be for you too. Now, about the final result of this experience, I want to be honest with you. The best thing this little ritual has given me is not just softer skin or less stiff joints. What it's given me, and what I didn't expect, is a new sense of self-care, a way to reconnect with myself. At 78 years old, many times you feel like the most important things in life are behind you, that your body changes, that your strength isn't the same, and it's true. But that doesn't mean we should give up. On the contrary, taking care of ourselves, treating ourselves with kindness, giving ourselves a few minutes each day, that's an act of self-love that has no age. It's not about looking young, it's about feeling alive. And if something as simple as a natural oil can help you feel that, more energy, more motivation, more confidence, then it's worth trying. It's worth pausing, applying a few drops, taking a deep breath, and saying to your body, thank you for getting me this far, now I'll take care of you. So that's my final advice. Don't underestimate the small things. Sometimes big changes begin with a bottle on the bathroom shelf, with a drop on your fingertips, with a new intention when you wake up. I use it every morning, and every morning I feel a little stronger, a little happier, and yes, a little younger too.